Hey everyone, apologies for the lack of uploads. I've had a lot of computer troubles. I've also been quite busy and preoccupied with work and stress and all sorts, so haven't really been able to do the reviews I wanted to. I even had one planned for Super Heaven, but I might just kind of cut that into the April albums of the month, which I haven't even started, and I've got a day before pretty much April ends, so this is fun. But I'm going to be talking about Ghost as well as another album. And then I'll be working on that. And also, I haven't even done track of the week in ages, so I'll try and catch up on that at some point. But we are going to talk about the new Ghost album, Skeletá. So I remember when this was leaked, and I remember when Satanized was announced as the lead single, I was interested. And frankly, Satanized is a nice song. I think out of the three singles, it's the one I prefer the most, at least. I just kind of think it's the most standout, the most ghost feeling song, but the other two singles do offer a lot of ideas I enjoy anyway. Peacefield has some nice progression to it that makes this an interesting opening track, and Lachroma, I think I butchered that, is a pretty good single, but probably my least favourite of the three. Although it does have some cool elements, this one kind of isn't quite as memorable to me. It just kind of doesn't really hit the same way Satanized did. But going through the record, I was interested to seeing how they'd follow up with Impera, an album that I wasn't big on, but over time it grew on me and I actually quite liked the album, and I honestly enjoy the variety that we get with that record. Unfortunately, I'm not as big on this as I was with Impera. I think the biggest issue is that a lot of the songs just play it safe in the same kind of standard structure of Ghost. You still had some standout tracks in Impera, and I'm not saying it's the band's magnum opus because they definitely had stronger material beforehand, but I mean, at least Impera has more variety to it, with tracks like 20s to offer this kind of little hectic, chaotic sort of departure, and you still had some standout songs like Hunter's Moon, Spillways, Call Me Little Sunshine. There's a lot of absolute gems I enjoy on that record, and with Skeletá there just really isn't anything. The only non-album single that actually really appealed to me is Marks of the Evil One. The whole refrain of it going there, and then going into this just weird sort of psychotic instrumentation is quite nice. I think the overall stack of that song definitely feels like top tier Ghost, but I just find a lot of the songs just to kind of blend. They just feel like they do similar things and don't really have much substance to them. On paper, it definitely sounds like a good concrete idea, but on execution wise, it just isn't really it. I think Ghost definitely has some good potential here, and the singles are great, but because you have all three of them at the start, you kind of get the best stuff first out the way, and then you're just kind of into the alright stuff. I can't really tell you much about these non-album singles other than one or two of them. Umbra was one I preferred as well. This one stood out to me. I like the fact that this one was a bit longer, but at the same time, I just felt that this album didn't really offer too much anyways. It's a bit of a disappointment because following what they've done so far, I felt every Ghost album has a bunch of songs that generally make it a highlight, which I think gives it a lot of interesting moments to it, but here there just really isn't a huge song I'm a big fan of. It definitely pales in comparison to the rest of the discography, but in no way, shape or form I'm saying that this is a terrible Ghost album. It's not. It's still got the quality, still got the Ghost sound. I just think it's a bit too much on the plain side and not really giving you much of the variety we've had with each record. And if they want to kind of play it in a bit tamer way, that's fine, but yeah, frankly, this whole new Ghost era was a little overhyped for what we've had execution wise, but I still enjoy it, and frankly I still support it in the battle for the UK #1 album against Stereophonics, because frankly you're going to enjoy my opinion on the Stereophonics one, and I can guarantee you that Ghost definitely deserve their first UK #1 album over Stereophonics with their millionth one. They just have too many, and I don't even know who the hell's listening to them anymore. But yeah, Ghost, don't really know how I feel about this one. On one hand, I don't think it has anything terrible, but on the other hand, there's just not really anything I see myself going out of the way to listen to. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to have to give it an alright rating of 2.5 out of 5. I don't dislike it, but I certainly don't really like it that much either. It's certainly got good songs, but there's so much that I just wish there was more to do with the songs. Maybe in time it will grow on me, but as of where we are, Tobias' vocals definitely feel the same as we used to. They still sound great, and I think the instrumentation definitely is well done, but the ideas just feel limited on here, and I wanted to see Ghost explore more of what they do best, the variety. But that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.